This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org. I'm Amy Goodman. An immigration judge has blocked the Trump administration from deporting Mohsen Mahdawi, a graduate student at Columbia University who was detained last April for his outspoken support for Palestinian rights. Mohsen is a green card holder who grew up in a refugee camp in the occupied West Bank. At Columbia, he served as co-president of the Palestinian Students' Union and served as president of the Buddhist Association. Last April, masked and hooded ICE agents detained him when he appeared for what he believed would be a naturalization interview in Vermont. He spent 2 weeks in ICE custody before federal Judge Jeffrey Crawford ordered his release. At the time, Judge Crawford wrote, quote, "Our nation has seen times like this before, especially during the Red Scare and Palmer raids of 1919 to 20, and during the McCarthy period in the 50s, unquote. Mohsen is just one of many international students targeted by the Trump administration solely for expressing solidarity with Palestinians and opposing the Israeli war on Gaza. Mohsen Mahdawi joins us now. Mohsen, welcome back to Democracy Now! We spoke to you right after you were released from jail. It was right before graduation at Columbia, the reception in front of SIPA, the School of International Affairs, where you're now a graduate student. Can you talk about the significance of this immigration judge's ruling?
Thank you for having me, Amy. This is very significant, and actually it's unprecedented considering all of the cases that were brought forward against students for deportation, students activists. So what Judge Nina Force has done, she has actually taken a very brave and courageous step towards justice by holding the rule of the law, even though this immigration court is under the executive branch. Still, the judge has found that the document which was used, which is the memo by Marco Rubio, was unauthenticated. And the hope that this same finding will apply on other students, and based on this, the termination of the case was done without prejudice. Now, I have to share with you, Amy, that we also have to consider the many different circumstances. The first step that allowed me to get here was to not be deported, to not be transferred from Vermont to Louisiana, which allowed me to be freed on bail by Judge Jeffrey Crawford, and then to be able to be heard in this immigration court, which is in Massachusetts, rather than one that is in Louisiana. So that gives you hope that there are judges who still hold the integrity and refuse to sell their souls to the Trump administration.
Now, for people who don't understand how the system works, explain the difference between an immigration judge and a federal judge. You have cases in both courts.
Correct. And I hope my lawyers would not be angry at me because I'm not a lawyer, but my understanding that technically, and actually it's part of the vision of this country to have checks and balances, and federal courts are part of the checks and balances. This is actually has been designed and envisioned by Alexander Hamilton, one of the founding fathers, and the idea is to separate the executive branch from the judicial branch.
Well, it's interesting. This is an immigration judge who's under the Department of who's under the executive branch.
That's exactly right. So even though the immigration judge is bounded by the executive branch, the immigration judge has to go through the rules and the rules of law, and based on those rules of law, what the Trump administration has done, in fact, they have violated the rules of law, and that's why the case was terminated.
This was your message to Trump after you were released from an ICE jail in Vermont last year, following more than 2 weeks in custody.
And I am saying it clear and loud.
Yes.
To President Trump and his cabinet.
Yes.
I am not afraid of you.
Talk about that moment as you say you're not afraid of you, and what it meant to be released, and what it meant after you had gone for your naturalization hearing for these federal immigration agents to move in on you when you'd been told to come for the hearing?
By this time, I would imagine that it's becoming very clear to the American people and to the rest of the world that this administration's mentality, the Trump's administration, is to intimidate people, to scare people, and to make an example of people like me, so others would not actually dare to raise their voice and to share their truth. And what I meant to say, actually, why I wanted to say that I am not afraid, because if I am afraid, I would lose sight, and I would lose not only sight, vision and imagination.
Mohsen, we just have a minute. You were raised in a refugee camp in the occupied West Bank. You're a permanent U.S. resident. You enrolled in Columbia University to study philosophy, where you're also president of the Columbia University Buddhist Association. How has your faith and upbringing in the occupied West Bank guided your activism and your stance today?
Amy, I have to share, because of 1 minute, I have to share with you that I was attacked and other students were attacked not merely for protesting. The media has missed the point, and they started saying the pro-Palestine protest or the Palestinian movement. The movement had an actual goal and objective, and that is divestment. Divestment, boycott, and sanctions, because this is the only way that we can bring peace and justice in a non-violent and peaceful way. And we do it with love, compassion, and empathy. And that's why the Trump's administration gets so scared of people like me who organize and are still organizing, because I will not be deterred and I will not actually give up to their exhaustion tactics. The harder they come on me, the more energy and power I will have, and I will continue to work for the freedom of the Palestinian people and the right of return and equal rights and human rights for Palestinians.
Mohsen Mahdawi, graduate student at Columbia University. Thank you so much for being with us. I'm Amy Goodman. Thanks for watching Democracy Now! On YouTube. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to make sure you never miss a video. And for more of our audience-supported journalism, go to democracynow.org, where you can download our news app, sign up for our newsletter, subscribe to the daily podcast, and so much more.